What's going on, guys? So I thought about, you know, the process that I'm going through so far, and really, you don't have to be technical to build a business, even an AI business, in 2026. I'm not that technical at all. I mean, the only advantage I say that I have is all the years and time I spent on YouTube, and those videos give me a little bit of traffic. I wouldn't even say a lot of traffic. Give me a little bit of traffic, and in the future I am going to pay for some TikTok traffic. I'm not opposed to paying for advertising. I just want to get as much as I can free right now. This is the reasons why I'm going to go after grants, because they're free. Why rush to go get credit cards when that's just debt? We will get that. We're going to go after credit. But grant money would be more beneficial because we don't have to pay it back. You know? And it may take a while. We might have to take out, I was thinking I might have to take out one loan that I have to guarantee right now just to keep me afloat where I feel comfortable, you know. And one of my roommates, because I'm doing a room rental hack when I'm renting rooms in my apartment, one of the guys told me he's leaving in September. And at first, panic set in, because I'm like, oh my God, because I'm like relying on this money and stuff. And I'm like, Will, what do you worry about? You got good personal credit now. If you get one more loan, you could pay off any of the last credit card debt I got. My score is going to go right back up after that's paid off. We'll add a trade line on my personal. Maybe, no, I might not need to, because the loan itself will be a trade line if it's on my personal. And then I'll probably go after 100 to 150,000 on the business side. But I don't think I'm going to do the credit stack thing where you go crazy, because I know a company that'll do that. I can give it to this company. By then, my credit score will be over 720. And for 720, they'll do it for free. I don't want to say the name of the company right now, but they'll do credit stacking. They'll get you as much credit as they can with as many banks as they can, but I don't want to do that. I'm patient. This is probably the most patient I've been in my life, where I don't want to be desperate to go after money. I want to take my time, do things in order, controlled, actually earn more in the business, you know, which is why I'm going to set up a platform with a membership. You know, I'm still struggling with what I'm going to price it. Here's what I'm thinking about. Because I want to do a membership where you're watching the journey now. You're seeing what I'm doing. You're going to see the trade lines as they come in. I'm going to announce every time I get a grant. So you're seeing the journey. So it's going to be a little bit more attractive videos to a lot of people, which the views are going to go up. I'm only going to publish the long form content on 2 of my channels. I know I kept switching up. Some people were saying I'm all over the place. I will put all the short form content on the other channels. I got like 5 channels that I post on actively. Hopefully, I think the short form is great. The short form is always going to get a lot of views, like most short form, but particularly mine do pretty well, enough to make me want to keep putting more out. And thanks to AI tools that I'm using, Opus Clips, links below, I'm able to get the best shorts, put them on different channels. So 2 of my channels, I'll do long form. The other 3 will just stay short form, and I'll just roll like that. Putting some of those same shorts on TikTok, on Instagram. So it's really not crazy. I'm not all over the place. Like, I don't really do X. I'm not really a fan. I don't really do Threads. Anything on Threads is just reposted from Instagram, basically. So I don't really focus on Threads. I was doing thinking about doing a what do you call it, a Slack, but that looked way too complicated for me. And like I said, I'm trying to do this without being techie. I did build a real AI tool using Gemini, and it's pretty impressive because this would be a tool that I could use, like if I go to the bank to open a bank account, and I can, when they go to check my website, I could be like, click on that tool, try it out, and it's Gemini in the background really working it, so it's really going to answer you. And it's basically going to give you a blueprint for your business, and you just got to give them a business idea and some, like, 3 questions you basically answer, and it'll give you a whole blueprint, and that's powered by Gemini. And I think I made that with Gemini Studio in like 10 minutes. Not techie. Not at all. So now I understand why Glendon goes on there and tries to sound like an expert on his channel, because he kind of can. Just spending a few hours a day puts you above a lot of people in the AI space. Like, I know so much more now for somebody not techie. It's crazy. And I decided I'm gonna stop bouncing around as much. Because a lot of people bounce around. They want to use all 3, meaning Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT. I narrowed it down to Gemini because it's powered by Google, and I think in the future that's going to be important because it already links to one of the biggest networks, and it's not ever going to be in jeopardy of losing money. Like ChatGPT is always struggling right now to keep afloat with money. Claude is probably the most powerful, but probably also the most expensive. Meaning you will have the best powered tool in the game to power your business, but is that necessary? Because Gemini could do a good enough job to power your business, and possibly has the best as far as video and AI picks, you know, with the VO stuff, and you know, the Nana Banana. I mean, ChatGPT's good with some of the thumbnails I've been doing, but Gemini usually wins. So I'm gonna go to Gemini Pro, which is like I believe the $20 level. Will I possibly go to the highest tier? If the business blows up, if Gemini helps me build my business like it tells me it's gonna. Because I literally have conversations with Gemini about everything in my business. And it gives me real answers that I don't even think a business consultant that you pay could do. Like somebody you literally pay thousands of dollars to, ChatGPT gives me the answers. Tells me what to do next. In a way that makes me feel comfortable because I picked a very comfortable woman's voice. You know, So it makes me feel good about the answers I'm getting. They say they're not always 100%, which it don't have to be 100%. It don't even have to be always more than maybe 80% correct. It's still better than a human giving you that same information. You know, you think about the people you go to, your friends, your family. The AI is probably going to give you better information than they will, especially about your business, because it already knows things about your business. And they're saying AI don't remember, but Gemini has these gems that I haven't tried out yet. I can literally build a gem that just does my grant stuff. That knows just enough about my business, and all you gotta do is, every time I get a grant offer, put that information in that gem, and now it's gonna spit out the exact things I need to do to get that grant. What to say, what to do. That, to me, that's a game changer. And Google has put out the most free stuff out of the big three. Google has gave out the most free stuff. You know, everybody loves Notebook LM by Google. Loves it. So I can only imagine when I go step up to Pro how it's going to be. And it's going to help me write a book. Now, it's still going to be a book written by me, because it's going to be real life events based on my life that no AI can really. I'm sure it could make up a story similar, but I'm putting my real life journey into this. I would say AI is just a filler, like the technical stuff about when I get to the business end of it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But the story is really going to be my story, really my journey, and it's going to format it in a way that is formatted for a real book. And I want to get it in printed version, and I also want to get it in digital. I want to have a digital format to actually sell, and I want it everywhere. I probably want to go to like Amazon. You know, I'll sell it myself, but having some physical copies makes you look more credible. So when you're going out prospecting, you can be like, boom, this is our book. This is my real life book. You know? And it'll talk about the AI stuff, but it'll also talk about the journey of me building a life where I own nothing, meaning I own nothing in my own name, and I own all my stuff under business, because that's where I'm headed, where I own nothing, where if you sue me, you're gonna be like, oh, he don't own nothing, how are we gonna sue this dude? I'll be honest with you guys, I originally wanted to get my first house in my name. Now I'm starting to think differently. Now I'm starting to think maybe I should step back, do like Grant Cardone is saying, rent your home, because you're probably not going to stay there anyway. Go find something comfortable for me to chill out in, where I just feel comfortable for now. And now I can just focus on continue building, doing what I got to do, building, and go buy a house, but buy something I could possibly make some money with first. You know, and most likely put that under LLC. You know, like a 3-4 family, buy it in my name. Meanwhile, I'm renting where I actually live, which also conceals where you live, because it's under a business, you know, which I think is safe. And the business could pay the rent, lease the car in the business could pay that. Check with your tax professionals, but from what I'm seeing, if you lease a car under your business, it's 100% write-off. Where if you finance it, you can't really write off anything but the mileage or the actual. But if you lease it, every single thing is 100% write-off. Tires, oil changes, the payment, everything. You literally just go in, take it to get maintenance, use your company credit card, 100% write-off. This is the life I want to live. I don't actually want to own anything in the future in my name. So if I were to buy a house in my name, it probably will be the house that I want to reside in forever, and that probably will go under a trust anyway. So I could just purchase it, go find it, purchase it right under the trust. I have the trust already set up. So I would find an investment property most likely before rushing out and necessarily purchasing a house for myself. I don't need a house for myself, guys. Now, I do need space. I do need space to create. Maybe have my granddaughters over. I do want space. So more than likely, if I were to rent a house, it would need a driveway, a decent sized driveway or garages. And if I'm going to spend the dollars to rent, it's going to be something nice. Best believe it's going to be something, not a lot of neighbors, kind of out there somewhere, away from everything, you know what I mean? That don't sound bad. But I was panicking, thinking, oh, one of my roommates is leaving. Back to that story. And I'm thinking, well, you got good credit. You're on your way to building more business credit than you ever have in your life because you have personal good credit to back it up. I got like one more credit card debt I got to knock off. And I could possibly get to the 800s by this year. I'm already I just hit the 7s. That would be, and possibly get a couple lines of credit along the way because I'm not credit stacking. The most I'm going to rake in right now is probably 2 inquiries. It's not going to really kill my credit. It's not going to kill my score to run my credit 2 times. And both for loan products that I could possibly, use right now to create some banking relationships. I don't think it's bad to be in debt. I really don't. I don't think it's bad to be in debt as long as you're staying afloat, and you're using the money to slowly build up where you don't have any debt. I don't think it's bad to have debt. And some of the debt that I'm going to use from this LLC is going to be used to build a bigger company. Think about that. I'm going to use some of the debt from this company. That's why I don't want to go crazy running my credit until that company is built. Because that's the company I'm going to go to Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, everybody. Have a real business address, but the place I rent could actually be that business address. It could. It could. It could be that future business address. I'm just thinking about it right now. And it won't be hard to convince a landlord if you're putting so much money up front, because these landlords, they want, I would say right now you got to probably put up like $5-6 grand just to get in a decent home, I don't think it's going to be that difficult to convince them to put it under your LLC. You know, it may be in the cities, in the inner downtown areas, but some of these smaller towns that find it hard to rent to, especially a house, they'd probably be willing to put it under your business without giving you a hard time about it. You know, now that I'm thinking about it. You know, you could probably convince them to even put it in the business name that you're going to create. Like, using that same address. You could probably convince them to do it. You know, depending on how much you're putting up. But this journey is fun now. It's becoming fun. I don't know what I was panicking about. I'm like, if this dude goes, I'll just go rent a place. You know, by then I'll have, a couple lines of business credit that it shouldn't be an issue to go rent somewhere. You know, even if I had to rent something a little pricey, it shouldn't be that difficult. It really shouldn't. I could probably even rent something higher end, like something like, instead of a house, rent a higher end condo and be just as comfortable as a house, as long as it's got the right parking situation that I want. You know, it's all about getting things out of your name and putting it under businesses. Not that you're going to do anything wrong. I think that's what people think. They think just because you're setting this up, like, where you don't own anything. No, it's about people wanting to sue you. Let's say the C Corp I build becomes a $1 billion idea. We get investors. We make all types of money. We build our own, let's say we build our own new social media platform that has AI integrated in it. And I'm listed as CEO. People are going to try to take stuff from me. They're going to try. You know, especially being black. People just are always going to think they're above me in intelligence, and they are. This is why you got to have the best legal team. You know, but money buys the legal team. So some of the debt from this LLC is literally going to be, I would say, probably anything over 10,000 spendable cash that I get. A few $1,000s are going to go towards building that C Corp after we find a location. Like, I'll find a location, something reasonable. Doesn't have to be big square footage, just has to be a brick and mortar location. Preferably in the town I'm in right now, and rent that out and go wide open. I don't even want to do a Regis. I was thinking that I could do a Regis, like the office lease thing, and I could go that route. I could. Now thinking about it, it would be cheap. Rent an actual office in Regis instead of paying a few $1,000s a month. You could pay the $500 because you have the actual office. Somebody's answering phones in the office there. So that's an option. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's an option. That's a more affordable option because it's a little bit cheaper than a brick and mortar. And they consider that real. But I want a brick and mortar. I do want a brick and mortar. I want the signage. I want the exposure. I want the brick and mortar. Now I'm thinking about it because we're going to probably do a lot of media stuff. And the media stuff doesn't work if you're in a Regis office, you know. But by then we'll have enough credit cards and lines of credit that it shouldn't be an issue to write a check to do something. Well, I'll write a check to myself first. You shouldn't commingle the companies unless one owns the other. So I'll write a check to myself, my personal account, let it go on my personal account, and then use it for this new company. And I already have a relationship with Chase, so Chase is just greedy. Let's keep it real. If I open a Chase account with $2,000 in it, I think that's the minimum where they don't charge you fees, right? And I just conveniently throw 2 to 3 G's in every month. 2 to 3 G's, 2 to 3 G's, 2 to 3 G's. And then go apply. Now I can do the credit stacking. I can let them go buck wild, the company I know about, let them go buck wild, do the credit stacking, pay them their fee. It could be as much as 20% with some of these companies of what they could get you. That's how much they get. But I could get companies as low as 10%, that I'm thinking about it. Go with one of them. Let them go buck wild. My personal profile should be good enough at that point. That's why I'm not rushing. I want to be the perfect profile. Well, it won't be perfect because I'll have maybe 1 or 2 inquiries, at the time that I go do funding for that C Corp. I'm going to have a few inquiries. But I think after 6 months, I don't even think they care about the inquiries, though, truthfully. So we go in with a perfect profile, at least 740 and above. In a perfect world, I want a 780 when I go to fund the C Corp. Like I said, I'm going to all 3. Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America first. Open the minimum. You don't want to throw too much money in there. Open the minimum where they don't want to hit you with fees, which is I think usually 2 G's. Put it in there. And if you deposit 2 to 3 G's, different increments, of course, they'll be happy. Chase will be happy. But at some point, the C Corp is going to have so much funding because the virtual address problem is solved. So it's a physical address. It's going to be easy to go to every tier bank from after the main tier banks, go to the mid-tier banks, and then you get every credit union on the planet that is going to pay a high credit line for your business. And then truthfully, if you got, I would say 10 banks that as long as you're paying back this money, they're going to be able to give you more and more and more. You can just keep going. One of the ways I am going to fund the business is through transportation. I probably will pick up 2 to 3 cars, rent them out, because I think cars are easier to rent out than rooms. You know what I'm saying? A lot easier. All you got to do is better track the cars, make sure they're paying you, as long as they're paying you. Once you get these people that don't pay you, and I probably prefer to get the way I get my rent now, could probably continue doing the same thing with the cars, weekly, every week. Bam. Money hits your account every week. And you can even have it where, let's say you have 3 people you're renting cars to at like $500 a week, let's say. You can have each one send it to a different bank. So, okay, so you wire your money into Wells Fargo, you wire yours in through Chase, you wire yours in through Bank of America. So your account always getting hit with some money going in, $500 a week. Really, that's all you need. That's all you need, because you're not really messing with that money. The main account will probably be, I wouldn't say Relay, but the main account will probably be Chase, because I already had a long relationship with Chase. So that might be the main account you might want to eventually keep a little bit more in, and have more than one account in every bank. I don't trust nobody. I don't trust banks. I really don't. They're not trustworthy at all. So to make it easy for you to sleep better at night, you're gonna want to open accounts. Fintechs, credit unions, every bank out there have a little bit of money. Something go wrong, you have access to money. And then towards the end, when you feel like you're ready to not necessarily retire but slow down, make sure you get all your personal money going into your trust. All your business money could continue going into the businesses, but paying your trust instead of you, you know. And then you have access to, I would probably have one business card, one personal card on me. You know, your everyday cards, and maybe $500 cash on you, just in case. You live a good life. You don't have to be mega rich. Your companies you want rich. This C Corp that I want it to be a multi-million-dollar corporation that I don't even run. I want to like just be the chairman and go hire a CEO. I want it to be that big, you know. But it all starts with the family LLC that I'm building right now. It all starts with the LLC you're building right now. I got links below of the companies I'm using right now. The list may grow. At some point, I'm going to build a membership where we can all meet up, talk, something affordable. You know, it's not going to be super pricey or anything like that, but something we can all meet up and really have some serious discussions about AI, money, credit, you know, maybe real estate down the line, business related stuff that we need to be talking about. Links below. Thank you guys for listening to me rant today. And I hope you have a great business journey. I really do. I'll check you guys in the next one. Thank you.